Hi there, and welcome to episode 3 of Activate Your Creative Heart. In this episode, we are going to explore how to activate your creative heart through playfulness. Welcome in my studio, and in this episode, I am going to take it a step further and we are going to go to the canvas. Now, I know this sounds very intimidating because you have only begun to confront the limiting belief that you are not creative because you cannot draw even a stick figure. So do not fear, my friend. Our very practical approach to the canvas today is going to be all about fun. It is going to be playful. I'm going to be taking you back to your childhood where everybody was an artist and was fearless in sharing their beautiful creations because there was still no ego involved in the creating of art. It was just a beautiful, soulful sharing, and of course, everybody was an artist and everybody enjoyed what you created. Unfortunately, for most of us as adults, at some stage in your journey, you put the crayons down, and there is some event that might have happened in your life where you maybe have been criticized by a parent, a teacher, a peer, or anything like that, where they might have told you, no, it's time to take this down, it's not beautiful, it's ugly, or it's in the way, or your creativity was minimized or criticized in some way, shape, or form. You might have been in the process of going to an art class, or art was one of the subjects that you had in school, and maybe the art teacher told you that you can't draw to save your life, you are not an artist, please don't take art as a subject, focus on economics and math. And that might have been a traumatic experience, and in that moment you've shut down from your right brain and focused to develop your left brain. Now, to me, that is a very sad event because that feedback that you received from a teacher or a peer or a parent was not entirely accurate. And some part of it is selective memory. It's just served to you as evidence that you are not an artist. So I just want to again talk a little bit about the difference between being creative and being a professional artist. Yes, artists are those people that are more drawn to being expressive creatively. It's like there is a natural ability and or talent to be an artist. And that is found in a lot of things like sport, mathematics, and so forth. So you are gifted or are naturally drawn to certain subjects and you excel at them because it is just part of the gift, I'm going to call it, that you have for this lifetime. However, creativity, like I've proven or discussed in episode 1 and 2, is part of who you are. And where you apply it is necessary in your career. You need to be creative as a mathematician. You need to be creative as a scientist. You need to be creative as a computer programmer. So creativity is essential in every aspect of our life as human beings. And this series really is there to encourage you to look at creativity from a different perspective. Now, why do I take you to the canvas if you are not an artist? Well, the canvas can become a portal, so to speak. It's a method that I use where you discover some of your attitudes and limiting beliefs that you might not consciously be aware of in your life that is preventing you from having a breakthrough. So I've said this before, and I really do believe that for us as a humanity to move forward and to find solutions for our current problems that we have, to be creative and to think creatively outside of the box is definitely the way forward for all of us. So, my role as a creatively fit coach is to help people, regardless of your age or of your profession or in which walk of life you find yourself, to help you to develop your right brain hemisphere, your creative thinking through creative exercises. And to step in front of a canvas is one of the best methods because using acrylic paint is so easy and it is user friendly and it is available quite cheaply all over the world. Remember, we are not here to produce an artwork that can be sold for money. We are not end product orientated in this process. We are process orientated. So it's all about the step by step, the discovery, the personal growth, the aha moments that happen. And yes, it is a lot of fun. And of course, at the end of that process, you will look at your creation with a new light and with a new eye. And I encourage people to put that in your space, in your office, somewhere where you can see it, even if it's just for yourself, to remind you that you can tackle any project in your life with the same attitude that you came to the canvas. When we focus on the process of art making, something magical takes place. I'm reminded of something that I learned in a documentary one day when they excavated Pompeii and they looked at the ceramic shells of the ceramics that was really preserved in the ash of that volcanic eruption. One of the very interesting things that was discussed in this documentary was that when the potter was busy making the ceramics and he was working the clay on the wheel, it was almost like when a record is produced in vinyl and some of the sounds and vibrations and so forth was literally encapsulated in the ceramics, in the pottery of that moment. And with the hot ash that descended on Pompeii during that very tragic day, that clay was fired and baked in that instant. It was that hot. But because of this coincidental happening, because the sound and the vibrations of the moment was really sealed instantaneously into the clay with a searing heat, it almost became like that of vinyl. And with the little grooves and lines that was found in the pottery, I'm really just explaining the story in my own words. They found these sounds basically engraved in the ceramics that can be compared to a vinyl record. Obviously not as clear, not as brilliant, but very similar. So why I'm telling this story is when art is created, during the process making, the artist really lays down vibrationally all of his energy, its thoughts, its dreams, its desires, and obviously the inspiration that is inspiring the person being creative and creating the artwork, whether it be a knitted jersey, a painting, arranging a vase of flowers, whatever the case may be. Part of the beauty that draws the viewer in and to look at it and to appreciate it, that they find interesting or attractive about it, is that very energy that was encapsulated in the process of the artist or the creative creating that very piece of artwork, whatever that may be. And for them, in the process of creating, that was medicine for their soul. So when another person views that same artwork and they go, oh, that's a beautiful painting, or that's a lovely dress, or whatever the case may be, part of that medicine is basically given over to the viewer. It is imparted to them as a gift, and you receive part of that medicine. It speaks to your soul. So that is why I believe that people look at art, they buy art, and they hang it in their homes. For that very reason, that the medicine was touching their heart, and every time they look at it, it basically feeds them on an energetic level. Right, so I've set up my studio with a square canvas. I think it's about 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. But really, you can play in your art journal, and or you can get a canvas like this or a painting board, whatever suits your fancy, it will be fine. And then I've got some acrylic paints in my palette. I did mist it with a bit of water. Just got some titanium white, cobalt blue, cadmium red dark hue. I've got cadmium orange. I've got light green. I've got cadmium yellow, and I've got some turquoise. It's just colors that I love, colors that I enjoy to play with. I've got a paper towel. I've got my little apron on just to protect my clothes. I've got more paper towels handy, and I just have a basic brush to just mix my paints with. But really, what we are going to be playing with today is our hands. So this is the art of mark making using our hands rather than using brushes. So I wanted to use the cave dwellers as an example. When we lived in caves, we used the elements all around us to create paint. It was anything from blood to colorful stones that we found, that we grinded down, and we added fat and all kinds of other things to it in order to make an emulsion. And that is what people painted with on the cave walls. Just want to rinse my brush. And then they used twigs or sticks or animal hair. It is actually quite amazing what they used to paint with to do that intricate cave paintings that still exist today. And sometimes even they used their hands. So in that way, they made marks that existed and is preserved for thousands of years. So really, this is what I want to do here today as well. So what better way to activate your creative heart than to return to the canvas in a very playful manner and just begin to do a finger painting. Use your fingers, be creative. And I decided from the beginning that I want to really make my painting quite light. So I don't want to use values that is too dark. And I just want to begin to break in this canvas. So my instruction to you is to begin to play and maybe start with a single color. And just use your finger and feel the texture of the paint. and begin to just place some lines on the canvas that you find expressive, playful, and fun. I'm literally mixing the paint in my palette, and I'm so happy I've got my apron on because I just dripped. So just be mindful that you don't mess on your clothes. Maybe wear something that you don't mind getting soiled with paint, and just begin to play. This is being playful. So for your information, if you've never played with acrylic paints before and you are scared to get it on your hands, or you might have allergies or anything like that, please wear some latex gloves or vinyl gloves to protect your hand, and then enjoy the very same process, because you can still feel the paint, you can still feel the canvas, but you don't have to be concerned about pigment getting on your skin. However, I must say that acrylic paint is quite safe to use. It's safe to be on your skin. I won't bathe in it all day long, but it's okay to play with it, because the polymer that suspends the pigment really is similar to plastic, and most of the pigments, that's why the tube say this is a U, is safe pigments. It is not heavy metals and things like that anymore like it used to be in the past. So this is another reason why I enjoy working with acrylics, because it is very safe. It is non-toxic in the sense that your skin won't absorb toxins, and the only thing I can say is stay away from direct heat like hair dryers or heaters, because that could release some fumes. But other than that, this is completely safe, nothing to worry about. This is water based, so when you go to wash your hands with some soap and water, it will all come off. And if you do struggle with some of it, maybe on a nail bed, you can always use a bit of rubbing alcohol, or if it drops on the floor or something like that, you just get it off. But like I say, if you're concerned about your manicure, or you are concerned about getting stains on your hand, you're not in the mood for the mess, you can always just put on a vinyl glove or a latex glove to protect your hand and have fun. So I'm going to pause the video, and when I come back, I'm not going to talk as much. I'm really just going to be playful. I'm going to allow myself to switch from my left brain, where I have to think about what I have to say next and explain a lot, right into my right brain, where I can be present with the canvas and be playful and just have fun. So I'll see you just now. for this next part, we are going to be very creative and use our entire hand to imprint a handprint in the center of this canvas, and in a way that becomes so caveman. It is one thing that was also found in cave drawings was an imprint of a hand, almost like a signature in some caves, and it's still preserved today. So I thought that would be very playful. It's one of the things that you do as a child. You put paint on the hand and you make an imprint of it on a piece of paper, and it is quite a lovely way to discover the mark that you can leave in this world. So really, for me, activating your creative heart is by putting your hand as an imprint on your canvas and then to paint a little heart in the center of your palm. How beautiful would that be? So let's get to it. I have pre-mixed a beautiful mauvey indigo kind of violety purple color as my base, and I'm just going to use a bit of a square brush to apply this to the palm of my hand. So just give me a moment, let me apply some paint. So I'm literally going to apply the paint literally to my hand, and I quite like it where it skips a little bit. I think that's going to be pretty. So just make sure that you mix enough paint to cover your hand. Give it a mist of water because my studio is quite dry, and then in the center of the canvas place your hand down, just giving it a bit of a squiggle, and gently pull away. Got some paint there in the middle that I would like there to be. My palm lifts up, and then you can see it better. And also my thumb. There you go. Isn't it fun? Okay, I'm gonna make this imprint a little bit stronger. And really, you can repeat this as many times as you want. It might be easier to press down on a table surface. I'm doing this on an easel to make filming a bit better. I think my paint was still too thick, so I'm going in for a second imprint in the same place. That feels better. Here we go. So you can just bring forth any part of the hand that you want to see better, and you can really open your fingers or whatever tickles your fancy in the moment. So I quite enjoy the underpainting of our expressive playfulness coming out. And I think I want to just dab in a little bit more here in these areas where I know things should be, just so that this illustration is a little bit more obvious. Now I will suggest that you allow this to dry completely before you try to paint on this, otherwise it's just going to mix and smear, and I'm going to suggest you use an opposite color, and that in this case will be like a yellow or something bright like an orange or a red, a warmer color, so that the heart can stand out. So I'm going to give this a few seconds to dry and I'll be right back. Right, so my base layer is dried a bit, so the color doesn't come off, and it's ready to take another layer. So I've decided with my very colorful hand to continue adding a beautiful heart into the center of my hand, and I'm going to attempt to do this beautifully with my finger as well. And really, this is the best way to experience both left brain and right brain, because as you're doing this, you will hear your left brain ego critical self tell you the whole time, this is a mess, this isn't working, try something else. And the practice really comes in to just be aware of that voice and not to give into it, not to stop, but to just continue to remind yourself in the process. But this is not about an end product. This doesn't even have to be appreciated or accepted or considered art in the end. I am just enjoying to play. Remember, we are being playful. And you will find the minute that you remind your critical left brain that, hey, buddy, thank you for your opinion, but I'm not making a Picasso painting. I am just playing with paint. It quiets down and you get back into the present moment, and you get back into expressing yourself creatively. And what you will find is the painting becomes more beautiful as you go. The more you step into your right brain and you just follow your intuition and you remain present with playfulness, the better it gets. It's as simple as that. So I've just used white now just to lay a foundation for my heart, because I know this little trick. If I just place the yellow acrylic paint over this purple, it wouldn't show up so nicely, because the yellow in general is very translucent and you will need like 5 layers for it to show up. So that's a little tip I can give you if you want to paint along with me and you want to do what I did. This is my thinking behind it, and these little tips of the trade I really share with you when I have a private Creatively Fit coaching session with you. That is where I sort of share the little secrets, inside secrets of acrylic paint and what I've learned over the years with you, so that you can learn it easier and quicker and faster. And that's also the stuff that you pick up in my one-on-one workshops that I offer. So really, you do learn technique, but like I said before, technique and skill is something that can be learned, but you must first open your heart to the idea and the knowledge that creativity is already present. It's not something that you're going to learn in a class. So hopefully by this episode, you now already begin to see that really creativity is just allowing yourself to play and to express yourself, and to just be outside of this left brain box, so to speak. So that is dried a little bit. Yes, so now I can take my yellow and go over the white. And instantaneously, the white underneath the yellow supports it. It is vibrant, it is beautiful, it stands out, and the two colors are complementary, so it gives even more vibrancy to the whole design. And there you have it. You have a beautiful canvas. You were playful, you expressed yourself, and you stepped away from this realizing and understanding a little bit more about how much fun a creative practice can be. I promise you, for me, this was a lot of fun, just to feel the paint, to feel the canvas underneath my hands and fingertips, to feel what the paint is doing and how it smears onto the canvas is so much fun. And yes, this ends up being a beautiful photo shoot as well. It's really a lot of fun. So please leave a comment below if you enjoyed my 3-part video series. If you watched this episode first and you didn't see the first 2 episodes, please go to my Cricut profile and you will find the other videos available there for you to enjoy as well. And if this creative process that I've exposed you to during this video series speaks to you, resonates with you, calls to you in any way, please connect with me, send me a message, write me an email, whichever way you can, and I'm available for you. I do have a Facebook group called The Creative Heart, and it really is a social learning group that I bring in all my creatively fit clients into. And in that beautiful private group, we share our processes, our art, our creativity, and there's a lot of free content that is available for you there as well. I do offer regular one-on-one or group workshops, and I post that on my Cricut profile as well. And I also do live streaming events on my social media platforms as well as in this Cricut platform. So there is a lot for you to engage in, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world. I am there for you as your creatively fit coach, and I hope to see you at a canvas real soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you very well. Bye bye for now.